Hey guys, welcome to the Knowing Angels channel. I am Lisa Gober. I've been a psychic medium for over 30 years and I've grown up working with angels. So my whole life I've been working with angels. And today I have my Miami t-shirt on because I really want a vacation. I'd love to go back to Miami Beach maybe next year. I don't think right now is a good time because all the probably packed. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, and I'm sure you don't need to hear it. Today's topic is what happens after we pass on. So it's a little controversial, maybe. This might be one that people are going to be like, I don't believe you. And if you disagree with me, people who have been following me, say it with me. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You don't have to believe everything I say. This is my experience. This is what I've known from my angels coming through. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's totally cool. In fact, comment below if you get a chance and let me know what you think about life after death. Let me know what you think happens. Let me know what feels true to you. That's the most important thing. Is if I say something, you're like, oh, heck no, she's so wrong. Pause the video and ask yourself what you believe about what we're talking about. Ask yourself in your heart, not what you read, not what someone told you, but what do you really feel is true? And I'd love to hear about it. If this resonates with you, if you like my videos, if you're having fun watching this, if it's just entertaining, that's cool, please hit the follow button, please hit the like button, please comment and maybe share, because the more information we get out to people about these things, the less scared they're going to be, the less anxious they're going to be, and hopefully we can just make the world a better place. That's the goal here, right? Giving you guys the information so you're not afraid of the unknown. There's nothing to be afraid of, I guarantee it. So here's a couple things let's dive in that I've come to know about what happens when we pass on. You don't go unless you're supposed to go. A lot of people are going to probably be like, that's bullshit. What about babies? What about, mass shooting stuff? You only go if you're supposed to go. If you weren't supposed to go, you wouldn't go. Okay? And as horrible as it may be, you have to remember, yes, of course, things are heartbreaking, and that's our human experience of life. Things can be very heartbreaking and sad and upsetting. But this lifetime is like a blip of our eternal existence, this experience of being human. So when angels and God and whoever universe looks at us, it sees our whole life, and it's just this little blip, and it's, the past, the future, everything's happening right now in this little blip. So your soul is eternal. Everyone's soul is eternal. So even though people pass on, they're still here. They're still around. And that should be made clear. But what happens when you pass on? What actually happens? Sorry, I'm looking for my cat. Because he was right next to me. I don't want to roll over on him in my chair. What happens when we pass on? Well, whatever you believe happens. I know some of you probably want to smack me right now. It's whatever you believe. Whatever you believe. So if you believe you're going to hell, you believe, oh, I'm a bad person, I did bad things, I'm going to hell, you're going to end up in hell. You're going to end up with the demons. They'd love for you to be there. They try to recruit as many people as they can because they're trying to build an army, which they have an army. But the problem is they all have ego. What's ego? Ego really is fear, which is false evidence appearing real, which is fake. It's not love. So therefore they will never, because they have this ego, they will never win, so to speak. All right. So they're trying to recruit as many as possible. So if they can convince you to think that you're going to hell when you die, then you're going to be in hell, and they'll try to turn you into one of their soldiers, I guess, so to speak. Now, if you don't believe anything, you probably just pass on, and you'll be able to see your family grieving. You'll be able to stick around and be a part of that and follow us around. Now, Some people get stuck in that, and then their relatives pass on and people go and they're still at the house, and they're still, this is how we get earthbound spirits. They're still in their one place because they never moved on, and now they're too afraid to. And now the reason they stuck around to be with their relatives, the relatives all passed on, so they're all just alone, and they're housebound. They're earthbound spirits. So that happens. It doesn't happen as often as you think. Most people pass over. Most people go in the light. Most people move forward. They're not super afraid. They see their passed on relatives maybe, or they're meeting them. There's angels around. But some people are just too scared when they see that to move on, and then they just don't. But that's not the majority. The majority does move on. Now, when my brother passed in 2014 of suicide, he stuck around. And I could sense him, not the night he died because I was too overwhelmed with grief and shock. But the next day and the couple days following, I knew he was around. I could see him. He was upset. He knew he had made a mistake. He was like, I should, I was dumb. I should have talked to you. He wanted to be with us. I'm going to move this a little bit because I realize it's kind of, he wanted to be with us, and, and he was watching us grieve, and it upset him because his best friend was there, his ex-wife, who he loved dearly, was there, her sister was there, I was there, mom was there, and we're just grieving so heavily. So one night, I was going to bed, and he was there, and he was kind of having like a flip, like, what did I do? This is, oh my God. He was kind of flipping out. I said, you need to move on, buddy. I said, go to the light. You got to go. And he goes, well, what, I want to be able to be with you guys. I'm like, you can totally come back, and you can totally come back and visit us. He's like, hey, sure. Yes, I'm sure. You know me. You know what I do. You got to move on. And I led him into the light, and he moved on. And then, of course, he's come back and visited us many times in dreams, and like moving electronics, sometimes he'll type stuff on the phone or the iPad, and you open it and there'll be like stuff like written, like the messages will be open, and you'll be like, I didn't write that. So of course my cat has to go to the bathroom while I'm filming because that's what he does. But anyway, so most people move on. Now let's get into what happens when you move on. Okay. So let's say, I'm going to go to the bad guys first. So let's say you believe you're going to hell. So you go to hell. If you believe you're bad, and they will do everything in their power, the demon, Satan, whatever, to make you believe and keep you believing that you're just a horrible person. You deserve this torture, right? They're going to make you believe it. But let's say for some reason you decide in that instant, you know what I did wasn't that bad, and I know God, God forgives me, which God doesn't need to forgive you. God loves you unconditionally, so don't worry about that. But maybe they forgive themselves, and maybe they're like, I want to go to heaven, I want to be with my family. They can choose, they can decide and move on. We have free will. So they can choose to forgive themselves, to change their energy, and then they can go heaven, quote unquote. They can go to the light. Okay, so what happens when we go to the light? I'm going to tell you. This is what happens. We go through rehabilitation. We actually go to school. And we go through a rehabilitation to shed the ego, to shed the pain and maybe suffering of being human. Because it's tough. And you guys know, we just went through COVID and all that. It is tough. It's been hard. And it's hard to hang on to faith sometimes. It really can be hard. I think you guys know that. But that's what happens. We go through rehabilitation so we can kind of let go of the ego and all that, and move, let go of the trauma. And, we kind of get pictures of our life, and we can see, we forgive ourselves. We just go through this beautiful rehabilitation to get us to the place where we're our pure soul, right? It's almost like purifying. And then once we're our pure soul, we can decide what we want to do. Do we want to come back? I'm not coming back after this. This is my last reincarnation on Earth. So, but you can just choose to come back and choose to have more experiences because we have free will. what was I going to say? While you're in rehabilitation and even afterward, you can totally come back and visit your loved ones and be with them. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The thing is to remember, and I mentioned this in another video and talking about angels and whatnot and spirit guides. When your loved ones are with you that have passed on, yes, of course, they're going to try and support you and help you and guide you. However, remember, they still have ego. So some of their guidance might be fear-based, okay? So if they had a fear of driving and you want to go for a drive, they're probably going to try and talk you out of it, right? You know, just because that's their own fear and that's their own ego. They haven't shed that yet. Does that make sense? I hope so. And they probably in your lifetime will still be always going through rehab. It doesn't seem to go as quickly as humans pass on, if that makes sense. So they'll always be in this rehab while you're alive. You're not going to experience them as just a soul without an ego, probably until you go over. And then you can meet again and, you know, do whatever you want. But that's how it is. Your passed on relatives may stay with you. They might the entire time of your life to help you and support you as they can. And they might not. They might find like, hey, you know what? They're doing okay. I'm going to move on. I'm going to, you know, keep doing the rehab and purifying and become just my soul. I'm ready to do it. And that's okay. That's wonderful for them. And that, because in the rehab, you know, just like now, you choose how fast you go, how far you go. If you want to stay with your loved ones, go ahead. But you know, if you really want to move on, you're ready to become just pure soul, and then you continue with your rehab. I hope this is making sense. Heaven, is it a real place? Yes, enough people believe in it, enough people created it, if that makes sense. The same with hell. Enough people really believe in it, therefore it is. Okay, therefore it has manifested. So yeah, they're real cool places. There's a golden city. There's you know, there's a beautiful garden. And heaven really is, when we come down to it, is when you let go of ego and when you're just pure soul, love, joy. That's the real heaven, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. Heaven on earth is trying to stay centered and focused on, you know, our truth, which is we are love, we are joy, and trying to stay out of the fear, okay? Which easier said than done, but it's possible. I mean, by meditation, it's possible by allowing yourself to feel your feelings and then come back to center. And we'll do videos about that if you want. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do some videos about talking about how we can move through things so that we can get to the love and the being our soul here on earth. But it is a bit of work. But then again, you know, what little bit of work is that to just be in joy all the time and creating and manifesting all the time, right? So that's what happens when we die. If you have any questions, if I forgot something, please let me know. Put it in the comments below. Obviously, like I said before, if you enjoyed this, please follow, like, comment, share. That would be awesome. The more you know. And yeah, the Knowing Angels Academy. You can visit that if you want to work with me, or if you need healing, if you need one-on-one support. I am a certified life coach. I am actually a certified angel coach, but I think my angel experience is much bigger. And if you want to work with me, check out my website below. It's got links to the Knowing Angels Academy and a lot of my programs and ways to work with me. So just check that out. I love you guys. I truly do. I truly do. And I'm so grateful for all the new people joining, and I'm so grateful to be doing this work. And I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you take a moment to realize how blessed you are. You're breathing. You have air. That's pretty cool. we're breathing, we have air, we have internet, we have the ability to watch these videos. It's pretty awesome, right? We're so abundant. All right, I love you. I'll see you in the next.